Dad, I'll let you bring in the magician with the basketball, Ennis Whatley. I'll let you bring him into the show.
Well, Ennis was a magician. He was a heck of a player, and we worked really hard to get him. At one point in time, we were going to lose him to UAB, but pulled it out in the last half of the ninth, I guess, and he was a terrific player. He only stayed 2 years, and he felt like he wanted to go on and play pro basketball, and he may have been outdone with me. I'm not sure, but he was a terrific kid, and I think he's doing well now, and I'm glad to have him on our show. Good morning, Ennis. How you doing?
What's going on, Coach? How you doing? How your family doing?
Everything's going okay. Tell our listeners where you are and what you're doing.
I'm up in Maryland. Been up here 32 years. I've been playing with the Washington Bullets. Met my wife up here and decided to settle down up in Washington, D.C. area outside of Baltimore.
I guess you have kids now?
Yeah, I got two sons. I got my oldest son, Marcus, is 32, and my youngest son, Ennis Jr., is actually 30 now. After he's been playing over in Italy for probably about the last 5 years, and believe it or not, Coach, I'm expecting to be a grandfather in about
Jay, I'm getting old now to find out about you. Jay in the morning. Ennis was a great player. Talk a little bit about. You can be honest with me. I'm okay. What your thoughts were when you decided? I had said I thought that basketball meant so much to you. You weren't as interested in school as you needed to be. Tell our listeners about that.
Well, it's an open book, Coach. By now, a lot of people know my story, but going to the University of Alabama, I only stayed 2 years and everything, and at the time, I felt I was ready, but hindsight, if I had to do it all over again, I probably would have waited another year. But very fortunate, to play 2 years at the University of Alabama and had decided, to turn pro and thing. Nothing to do with you. Well, I just want to definitely make that clear. And the University of Alabama, because one decision I said if I had to do it all over again 100 times, I would go to the University.
We had some great wins, and at least I cleared out the side for you. Shoot that layup against Kentucky when we won at Lexington. Also, I thought one of the great passes you ever made in your history of your game was to Bobby Lee Hurd on the break down at UCLA.
We had so many good times, Coach, and so many big wins. Even from UCLA to Kentucky, so many, that's like I said, so many great things. We had a great time. It
was a fun time, Barry.
We're talking obviously with Ennis Whatley. Ennis, talk about the North Carolina game over in Raleigh. You guys have beat St. John's by 1 up in the New York area. Had to play the freshman and Michael Jordan. You guys played them. I think you lost by 5 there. Dad and I talk about the officiating in that game all the time. But a lot of great players on the court that day. Just talk about that North Carolina game.
Well, kudos once again. I got a great story for your pops. Of course, the Last Dance been on ESPN.
Yeah.
And everybody been telling their story. And I always have this one great story that I always tell when I was on the bus and Michael Jordan was a rookie. He was going on because he kind of, he's a trash talk a little bit. So, I was more of an introvert, didn't talk a whole lot, but he was going off about, man, I scored 24 points there. I said, wait a minute, to your dad's defense. I said, hey, man, Mike, you didn't score 24 against us. You only had 11. I said that I played for a guy by the name of Will Sanderson at Alabama, and they taught us to play defense down there, and everybody said, oh, man. But I said, go look up at the stats. I said, the stats won't lie, but it was just a great classic story, a great game. It was a well-fought game. If Eddie Phillips didn't get fouled a couple calls here and there, I believe that we could have easily been playing Georgetown or whoever for the national championship.
Yeah, in that box score, Jordan only got 6 shots in that game. So I think, I don't know who was defending him, but they did a pretty good job. So then you go to Chicago Bulls, and then here comes Michael Jordan as a rookie. This kind of tells us, was he a guy when you started playing with him, you looked at him and said, wow, this guy is much better than I thought? Or was that did his career surprise you a little bit?
Well, really, we got a lot of history. We go way back. Of course, we were McDonald's All-American together if you take it a couple of years before.
Yeah.
And then, we played in the McDonald's game together, and then he was drafted by the Bulls. I was already there a year.
Right.
But, you could tell, I don't think it's a hidden secret, man, that this guy, had unbelievable talent, even in the Alabama game. But, his talent just, is unbelievable, and you can tell right away from the minute they step on the court, such a driven player, such a, hard-working player, man. You can see that, his talent was going to be something else. But at the time, no one could tell he was going to turn out like this, though. But it's, it's unbelievable story. Best player played the game, and, what I'm saying, in my book, one of the best players,
Sure, that.
Ennis, tell us about pro basketball. Was there any surprises that did pro basketball sort of as you begin to play for those coaches go about the way you thought, or were there things in pro basketball that were more difficult or easier for you than you thought? Tell our listeners about that.
Well, one thing, Coach, like I said, hindsight, if I had to do it all over again, that's one thing that it doesn't prepare you for, because in college, you can think that you're ready to play, but, Coach, you done coached a long time. As far as detail, man, I always give, credit to, just the things I learned at Alabama. But as far as, like, from on the court and the off the court thing, professional basketball was a whole nother different level. Sure. When it came into playing basketball, you may think that you're ready, and like I said, after hindsight, many years after playing, I could see where, I was not fully ready at the time. I could play the game of basketball from the mental aspect and just the details and just a whole lot of other things, the hand checking, the rules, and just a lot of times your confidence and just the atmosphere you're going in is unbelievable,
Well, your old high school's gone. Phillips High School is where I used to come and see you play all the time, and boy, the people, the state of Alabama and city of Birmingham were wowed by you. I had never seen anything like it. And the funny part about it, Barry, was that when I got there to see him on his official visit, I always say this on his own because it's pretty cute. He didn't show up, but I had a great visit with his mother.
Oh, well, that was good.
And his mother was terrific, and the dad was out in the front yard fixing cars, and Leroy and I got in there, and we had a long visit with the mother, and she didn't know a lot about what was going on. I'm sure she had Bartow in there and Sonny Smith. Everybody in the world had been in there trying to get him, and I walked down the sidewalk with Leroy when it was over, and I said to him, "Now, how are we going to get this guy when he doesn't show up for the official visit?"
That's kind of hard.
Explain that. That's what I said to Leroy. I'll never forget that. We're so far behind on this guy. We're not going to get this guy. I said, we're not going to get the best player in the state. He don't even show up for the official visit. And I can't remember Leroy's answer exactly, but it was, I'm not sure what he said, but I think he said, we'll do everything we can to get him. And back then, the alums could come around and visit with him every day.
Right.
And we had, I'd stick the alums on him best I could.
Well, that was good. That was a good place to send the alums to see him.
Yeah, I stick them on. I wanted them to see him every day. I said, you go by and see him, go by the school or go by the house and holler at him. And they would call me and tell me, I saw him this, that, and the other. It was a circus because UAB was pushing him hard, and UAB had gotten this, I think, I'm telling this right, he can correct me, I think UAB had gotten his sister a job. And I'm not sure about that. It doesn't really matter.
Well, Ennis, tell us about your recruitment. Was it a done deal? Was it as hard as he makes it sound like it was?
Well, that's one of those barbershop deals where, you would have to have probably about eight main things. But, of course, I grew up in Birmingham.
Sure.
I've been open always about it. I kind of had verbally committed at one time, because I'm playing every day up at Bell Gym. All the guys down all around. It's just a tough situation. Can you believe, as he was saying, that I didn't even show up? I'm only like 17, 18 years old
sure.
at the time, but I was very aware of the University of Alabama, and everybody from TR on down the line to Reggie and all them guys had been down there, man. So we was very familiar. It was just a tough decision, but I actually had committed at one point, but when I really thought about it, I felt that I made the right choice because of the fact that it's nothing like the University of Alabama, and if I look over and over again and playing, there was no joke. But back then it was a recruiting war. We had so many great players, and just so many. I mean, you just think about that year, Barry and Coach. I think we had 13 D1 players, and it was just everyone was trying to jockey to see where they was going, and it wasn't an easy decision. Let me just say that, but I believe I made the right decision.
Yeah,
well,
I can remember. Everybody talks about the four corners. Well, the four corners with you in the middle of the court. We put everybody in the absolute corners, in the corners of half court, and this gave you the ball right there in the middle, and let you put on a show, Ennis. So that was my definition of the four corners, not Dean Smith. It was with you with the ball in the middle of the court late in the game doing your thing. You remember those days?
I do. That's where one thing they don't give old Wimp enough credit about it. He never got in the way of to me, of the player. I was an introvert, so I didn't really talk a lot, but he'll come up and look me in the face and say, like I kind of heard a story. Wimp got a lot of stories. He said, I gave you the ball and then you shoot an air ball. What? But the four corners was one thing. A lot of people say, well, they held you back. I said, he never held me back. Not one time that he never held me back. Anything he was telling me to do to shoot a lot of times more, but I just wasn't that type of player and everything. But the four corner was definitely played to my advantage. I think one of my strongest attributes is to get other people the ball and be able to see the floor. So when he spread it out, like when we played North Carolina, we played, like just say teams like Vanderbilt, we adapted well, because I'll never forget playing Vanderbilt one time, man. They spread it out and ran this type of system. And when we got to UCLA and games like that, Coach, he always allowed me, to play. That's one thing I can honestly say that. But I love the four corners myself.
Yeah, it was awesome. All right, tell us about Last Dance. As we watch that, I can't wait to watch it again this weekend. I actually saw you throw Jordan an alley-oop, and he dunked it in the series. But were you shocked at some of the stuff that you saw as Jerry Krause and all the things that happened with him? Just tell us what your thoughts were on the first two episodes.
Well, I came in on a raw Thornton. He was the GM, but I think Krause, Ryan Soft ended up coming in my second year and everything. So it's a ton of stories that I have, even sitting back and reminiscing and just kind of going back over how young I was at the time and just seeing now the videos and everything that come out was crazy, because, of course, my bout with drugs and alcohol, it's pretty open, and everything. And I was truly one of the ones, I guess, when Michael tell his story about, being in the room and everything, but it came down to, just decision making and everything. It's just, like I said, you need a whole hour, another hour in order to do it. But as far as, Krause and all those guys, the way they ran the team, I had just had a meeting with them before my first year, and they were telling me, you're a good guard, we love you and everything, we're looking forward to seeing you next year. So I'm getting ready to go home. So I said, well, I'm gonna get in shape and better shape and come back and just have a great year, because I played 1 year with Mike. And so while I'm on my way home, actually I got stopped by the police, and then I didn't have my license on me. And when I got stopped by the police, the police said, hey, by the way, you've been traded to the Cleveland Cavaliers. I said, wait a minute. The general manager just told me that I was doing good. I was on my way, and I kid you not, that was the beginning of there's a whole lot of stuff. So when I listened to the story of The Last Dance, a lot of the things that it's not shocking to me because it's business, but it's interesting. It's good stuff, and it's what I'm saying, it's someone sharing their story.
Yeah, I want to ask you this too. These guys last night in NFL. They get drafted, and they're coming into a pile of money they've never seen in their entire life. They're going to have people coming all after them. What would be your advice to these guys?
Well, one thing I don't do, like I said, and even as I was sharing the story, Barry, one thing I was saying, I was 19, 20 years old when, like I said, when I was in the room. I'm 32 years clean from drugs and alcohol. And one thing, as Michael was sharing in the story about, he made a decision, not to go in, which was the right decision, because difference between, being a Hall of Famer or either being a journeyman, like I ended up being 10 years traveling in the journey based on, some things that I forfeit based on decision of, from my alcohol and drug use. But I really would tell the young, kids, not preach and talk about this all the time, is to take care of your body and to stay away from it. And when you, as far as the money part, if you don't have someone around you that can count money or understand money, I think that you can get all the money in the world, but you need someone around you that, could, that know what they're doing in order to do it. Fortunately enough, God brought my wife into my life. After the Washington Bullets, I never had an agent, because she's very good with money and she understand, how to count and everything. But I definitely would recommend that they get someone that they can trust. And when it come down to something like that where, you can function, get on a budget and just, try to manage your money and everything, because my life have changed drastically, Barry, Coach. Because I first of all, I turned my life around then. I understood, those things and everything.
Yeah, that's great stuff there. Dad, anything else for Ennis?
No, I want to thank you, Ennis, for being on. I appreciate it so much. We don't get you on again, but I really enjoyed listening to what you had to say, and hope things go well for you. And I'm really proud of you for being able to sort of turn things around and get yourself straight and a little better. You weren't that bad, but just, we all do things we shouldn't have done, I guess. But I enjoy having you play for us and all the players. And you still to talk when I go back and talk about teams. You're one of the first names that comes up. So I want to thank you.
I appreciate it, Coach. Now, if I could just say to everyone out there that's been affected, by the pandemic and just, all the things out there, just want to tell you, be patient, man, and good news is on the way, okay? And just my shout out to everyone that's out there that's been affected by it. Just God bless you and just be patient, okay? Thank you a lot, Coach.
Thanks, Ennis.